but I peed my pants, and I'm like, listen, the date went bad, but not that bad, I can explain.
Hello, Grace Helbig.
Hello!
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you for having me.
Good, we're very excited to have you. So we need to talk about the book first and foremost, which I do have a copy of right here.
It looks like the book! Yeah!
Which is amazing, obviously. First of all, sell us the book. Sell us it in 5 words.
5 words.
Why we should buy it.
Worst self-help book ever.
Amazing,
yeah.
Good start. On a scale of 1 to chewing your own arm off in excitement, just how excited are you to be going on your book tour in the UK?
3. I mean, I'm really excited. Everyone in the UK is so polite and nice, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. Even if the people of the UK don't like me, they hide it really well. So I'm into that.
That's good, that's nice.
Yeah.
Now tell us, which was the most fun chapter of the book to write?
The most fun chapter of the book to write? It had to be the one about anxiety. It was also the most stressful to write. I think it was stressful to write something kind of personal, but then really fun to try and come up with all the tips for how to handle your anxiety, and try and make them really lighthearted and take a lot of the, I guess, weight out of what is something that's really hard for people to deal with sometimes. So yeah, I think that was probably the best and worst chapter to write.
Well, that answers my next question, because I was going to say which was the worst to write as well, so there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Amazing. If you could go back and give your teenage self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Keep laughing.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to deal with life when you find the humor in things than to think about things too seriously. And I think I've groomed myself into a person that really can't take things that seriously. Maybe I should work now on the balance between the two, but I think, yeah, keep laughing is a really good piece of advice.
And what were you like as a teenager?
Oh, I was so shy. I was so introverted. It's funny now because I get a lot of messages from people that I went to high school with, and I think it's like they're just figuring it out that we went to high school together, because I was so much a fly on the wall. I was really observant of people. I'm really fascinated by people, which thank God Facebook came into existence, because that really helped me out. But I was really quiet. I didn't know how to socialize or how to express my opinions. I didn't really know what my opinions were about things. And so I think late bloomer, I guess, but not even late. I just feel like high school was more of an observational time for me than an active participating time for me.
Do you find that that's kind of really helped you with your comedy?
Yeah, I think it really does. I think just observing human beings and how we interact with each other is so important in comedy, because the truthful scenarios are the most hilarious scenarios when they relate to you and speak to you on a personal level and they don't seem false. So being able to watch people. In the book there's this part where when I was in college, I was interning in the city and I had no friends, and the guy I was dating was at boot camp in Virginia. He was a psychology major. It was a whole thing that he was doing, and so I felt really lonely, and he didn't have a cell phone down at boot camp. We could only communicate with letters, so it was this really like kind of romanticized thing in hindsight, but in the time it was happening it was awful. So I used to go to Penn Station and just sit with a notebook and watch people all day, because we didn't have a television in my apartment that I was subletting, and I had the internet, but I wasn't like really using it that much. So yeah, I used to be this weird little creeper girl just sitting and writing and looking at people.
But people watching is so interesting.
It's so interesting. I love it. It's still one of my favorite activities. Yeah.
An equally serious question. Who is most likely to survive in the Hunger Games? You, Mamrie, or Hannah?
Who's most likely to survive in the Hunger Games? Mamrie. But, I mean, I'm gonna forget what the rules are instantly and be like distracted by a cool looking bug and then get like speared to the head. I feel like Hannah is gonna overthink everything and have some kind of misstep. I think Mamrie is gonna distract people with her wit and her comedy, and as long as there's no rodents in whatever the ecosystem is that they create for us, I think she'd come out on top. Yeah, she's a competitive person is the other thing. Mamrie's really competitive, so much so that it makes me just like, I give up instantly because she's dedicated to winning.
Amazing. And for people who would like to do YouTubing, instead of giving them a piece of advice of what they should do, can you tell them one thing that they definitely should never do?
one thing that they should never do is make content because they think it's going to be a viral sensation. It is impossible to make a viral video. So, and it took me a while to really believe that. Because every day that I was doing Daily Grace in the beginning, I was like, this is going to be the one. This is going to be my Jenna Marbles moment, this overnight success. I feel it. And I'd wake up every morning and be like, nah, all right, just still slowly climbing up this mountain, I guess. And I think that was really freeing to realize, oh, okay, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
So instead, how can I make content that I actually really like every day, that I feel not embarrassed to show other people? And yeah, it frees your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. The E-show is happening.
It
very,
is.
Very exciting. Tell us something about it that maybe no one else knows.
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
That's pretty honest, and I think everyone thinks I know exactly what it is that we're making, and I don't know exactly what it is that we're making, and that's kind of exciting. And if I think about it too much, it's terrifying. But I think it's going to be really fun. But whatever it is, hasn't been decided yet.
Now, you have one story or anecdote to tell that will save your life. So it's a life or death situation. What story / anecdote about your life or anything are you going to tell?
Story or anecdote about my life to save my life. When I was in high school, I was working at a Chili's and I fancied one of the busboys there, and so convinced my mom that I was sleeping over a friend's house so that I could go with them after work to he and his friends went to this pool hall nearby, very South Jersey, very glamorous, and I stayed out with them at this pool hall. By that I mean like my friend came with me and we just stood and watched them play pool the whole time. And I was out way past my curfew, and the truth was I was going to sleep at my friend's house, so finally at like 2 in the morning I left in my car to go drive to my friend's house, and I guess I'm awful at driving cars or having any spatial awareness. I was pulling my car up to the light to make a left, and I was trying to get past this other car that was in front of me, and I just like so slowly went past and just my window hit his rear side window and just knocked it over, but like in slow motion. And I panicked and I was like, oh my god, and it was a red light, there were no other cars there, and I was like, gas, no wait, it's a red light, I can't. So like my moral compass was still working for some reason, and this guy was such I guess white trash dude, tattooed, tank top, like 2 girls with huge tits in the car with him. He thought I was a guy because there was mostly guys in this pool hall, and he like pulled up behind me, got out of his car, started like cursing at me, thinking he was gonna like fight me if I was a dude, when it's like dead set on pulling me out of my car, and the girls are like, Tommy, no, screaming at him from their car. And he comes to my car and he like kneels down the window and he realizes like I'm a little high school girl, and he's like, oh, sorry, and he gets back in his car, and then I'm there and the light changes and I go to turn and I realize I had pissed my pants. I was so nervous about this guy. So not only do I show up at my friend's house at like 2:30 in the morning, but I peed my pants, and I'm like, listen, the date went bad, but not that bad, I can explain. So yeah, that was also I think the last time that I peed my pants, I think, maybe. But yeah, South Jersey is really great if you're looking for a place to vacation.
It sounds great.
It's really fun.
I think you definitely saved your life.
Yay!
Definitely.